Observing is something where I felt like I would actually push the whole craft forward. I could give people something that they would enjoy.
Yeah, that last series certainly was very exciting to watch, but sometimes it takes more than being cute to make it all the way to that winners final. And right now, we're actually in the situation where we're going to be on that side of the winners bracket, where we're going to have a series that's going to figure out the first team that does make it to the grand final, the first team that actually does get their spot in the major, and it's Alliance and NIP. And these are two teams, Nahaz, that you definitely would have probably predicted making it to this place.
Not only two teams that you would have predicted making it to this point, we've all talked all season long about how strong the EU region is, seen it in event after an event, but two teams with plenty of history against each other. Unfortunately for Alliance fans, that history is not always pretty. Going back 4 months, starting with ESL 1 Katowice, these two teams have faced off 14 times. NIP is 12-2, with the only two Alliance wins coming in an upset series win against NIP during the Epicenter qualifiers.
This is the type of series that definitely makes you put your hands up. Alliance versus NIP. Kyle, before we get into it, who do you think is going to be able to take this one?
I'd have to favor NIP. Agree with Alan. Every series Alliance has played so far in this tournament has gone 2-1. They've been real close to losing some of the games that they ended up.
Is that actually every single series?
They've been taking the limit every time.
They've won, but they've been 2-1.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. I feel like we haven't seen them in a position that feels absolutely commanding, even though they have one of the most commanding records in our tournament, which is an interesting phenomena to see. But now that they're running into NIP, I do think that it is very important to actually keep that in your mind. But you guys can vote in the chat right now for either Alliance or NIP. What do you think NIP does need to do here to ensure their spot?
Stay the course. I mean, exactly the opposite case for NIP is they dropped their first game of the tournament against Sirius and then have won every game since then, have done so convincingly. They've looked like they're in total control of the draft. They've looked like they're in total control of the early game. This is a team we had questions, being the only team in the field here in Kiev that is already qualified for TI. Were they going to have that foot firmly depressed on the gas pedal? The answer so far has been yes. Peter did win this tournament last year with Pycat, who's now coaching, as well as 33. They built a lot of momentum going into TI, and they look really committed to repeating that feat once again in 2019.
I want to go back to Alliance and just say, isn't this kind of on brand for them? Isn't this exactly what a lot of the analysts were somewhat predicting when we did get here with, they get it done. It's not necessarily the cleanest Dota. Sometimes it's a little bit dirty. Sometimes they struggle to close. Kyle, as somebody who also struggles to close out, what do you think of what Alliance has brought thus far?
I think they've performed about my expectations.
Yeah.
The three question marks for me were Mineski, Alliance, and Complexity coming to the event. I thought that they were all relatively even, but I think that Alliance has proven they're a tier above. They're trying to shore up some of their issues with closing games, just like I try to work on my closing as well. But practice makes perfect, so they just need to keep at it. I think this tournament is a good time to start showing their I think that they, at the very least, are going to take this to 3 games.
Ninjas in Pyjamas versus Alliance.
And I think Alliance has some weaknesses in that they've got a couple methods of play style. They got a play style, and they have heroes like Lone Druid that, when they have them, they look tier 1. When they don't have them, it's a bit more questionable.
I think with Boxy too. I mean, we saw that in the previous game, that Boxy Mars. That's the best Mars game in Pro Dota 2 that we've seen so far. Obviously, he's the hero newly introduced. But Mars has reached double-digit kill totals 3 times in Pro Dota 2 matches. 5 times in Pro Dota 2 matches overall. 3 of them are by Boxy. And this guy, all season long, it's the hero composition, certainly, as Kyle said, but it's also Boxy personally. When Boxy pops off, this looks like a tier 1 team. When he doesn't, when he's limited early game, when they're trying to get him back on track, they look like they really struggle.
Yeah, they're a very streaky squad. And it's always hard to predict what a team that requires good games from all 3 cores will actually do, because you just don't have an easy time activating all of your heroes. And if you look even at the game they lost, I think that the TA Anti-Mage Bat Rider, it just doesn't fit when I think Alliance. I feel like they're much better when Mikke is on a more active core. I like heroes like Troll as an example, because it allows Boxy and Koifa to also have these more 2-styled heroes. Boxy is not an off-laner like Zai. He is not sacrificial. He wants to have a game. He needs farm, and it requires to pick different ones around him if you truly like to see him have that superstar performance. One of the highest MMR players in Europe. Newer guy, also Han player.
So Nahaz.
You don't even know what Han is.
I don't know. Could you imagine still talking about your Han achievements on the desk right now at the Dota tournament, Kyle?
I'm bringing up my friend Boxy's Han achievements. You just did that, but thanks.
Sorry, I was looking at Nahaz because I had a question for Nahaz. I wasn't paying attention to everything you were saying. I wanted to move away to predictions for a second here. I wanted to move away from predictions for a second. And Kyle, everything I did here, I totally do agree with. I just love giving you a hard time, but that's because I love you. You're honestly one of the best friends I've ever had in this entire world, let alone esports. And I'm very thankful for you.
You just kissed my head.
So, Nahaz, the
how do I keep ending up on these panels?
because you are the guy who always has the answers. I've enjoyed working with you a whole bunch as well, and I do want to say we move away from talking about any predictions.
Yep.
We can just talk about the straight up facts, and that's how important it is for both of these teams. So let's actually talk about the stakes. This is the last series that you need to get that spot in the major. What does that mean for NIP, and what does that mean for Alliance?
Well, for NIP, not a whole lot. NIP is playing for momentum right now, which obviously is extremely important, but they are going to TI with 2,500 DPC points. They are firmly in that 8th position. They mathematically cannot be displaced.
Not just momentum. This is still a $300,000 tournament.
Sure, absolutely.
And most events, you compare this field to Birmingham, right? More teams in the top of the DPC. NIP, their strongest competition is this match right here. And it's 120K for the squad that finishes first.
Well, it's not bad.
It's really funny because I've noticed this in Dota. I've never brought up a prize pool, really, ever. And when I watch Dota, it's not very often that you hear, excluding TI, right, that you really do talk about the prize pool. And in other esports, it's a big talking point. And for the most part, Dota just dwarfs all the other games. It's like, wait, this is probably like the most money that's ever been on stake for any tournament that I've ever casted. It's all like a minor. Yeah. It's so funny that it just isn't a thing that comes up nearly as much. But that definitely is a relatively large cookie jar to try to get your hands in.
Yeah. It's tough when you have one event in TI that constitutes about 2/3 of the total prize money all throughout the year. It's tough, right? It overshadows everything. But you're right. This is not an inconsequential amount of money. And especially, I think you talk about Alliance sitting there at that threshold. They need a top 8 finish. Okay, they now know that with a top 8 finish at Epicenter, they can displace eHome and take over that 12th spot for the ranking. So it is looking now with Mineski, Complexity, and eHome all now for certain going home. They will not be at the major. It's looking like that DPC points threshold could be as low as 700, 800, 900 points. A random team can come into Epicenter, finish top 6, and earn their way into the field. Alliance, you have to wonder, that pressure is squarely on them going into the series. How is it going to affect them positively or negatively?
And we'll see. I like, it's funny, after game 2, I went over to talk to Alliance, and Aiden told me to go away. He's being serious. I'm not allowed to talk to his team in between games. And I think usually he's got a more carefree attitude. Known him for a long time, but even if they look like they're smiling, he is taking this very seriously. He understands what this means. The European qualifiers are not going to be a laughing matter this year. Just one spot for every region. And I think it's actually easier to be top 8 at Epicenter, especially when you consider the fatigue, maybe the lack of practice that a lot of the top teams that have already qualified are going to put into the event. I'd rather be I think top 8 at Epicenter is easier than winning the EU qualifier.
I actually want to go back to the cash really quick because that really did pique my attention. So let's talk about those fat sacks of cash real quick. As somebody who's actually competed, Kyle, if you're in a situation like this, is that on your mind? Like, is that actually an additional pressure, or for the average person that's been competing, definitely not the average person, right? I think that's not fair
Slightly
to say,
above
but
average, I think.
when you look at a player who's consistently making it to tournaments like this, does that become an additional stress, or were you able to, at a certain point, just not even think about that and only think about your series?
5 seconds remaining.
Dota's an interesting game. I feel like your mindset going into it sort of
Radiant
shapes
team back.
how you feel as you perform, but at the end of the day, Dota does not allow you much time to think about, metaphysical BS, like, oh, am I doing what I want with my life? Oh, there's a lot of money. I really gotta hit this stun. There's just too much going on. Your brain is completely focused on the in-game, and I think you can actually read in the pre-game is where you would get a feel where if people are maybe a bit
10
psyched out.
seconds
But
remaining.
so far, I think both teams, NIP very business-like. They have nothing really on the
5
line.
seconds
They're just playing for
remaining.
cash, PPD, self-admitted.
Team
I'm playing this game for money, and he's trying to win a lot of it. Alliance, TI. Like I said, this is big, and you don't want to see them in the elimination series tomorrow for like that
Wow.
last spot, right?
Look at that,
They want to win here.
Viper ban. That's pretty interesting there by NIP. A little bit of a variation. I think that's the first Viper ban that we've seen. No,
Tells
there were a couple more break games.
Makes heroes like Mars,
5
Spectre,
seconds remaining.
and Bristleback specifically. I
Yeah.
think NIP will almost guaranteed
Looking
be
at
looking
Bristle.
for Bristle
Yeah.
Abaddon as an opener based on that ban.
I think that was the other time that we've seen. It wasn't in the first phase certainly, but I think that was the other time that we've seen a Viper ban here was when Nip was picking Bristle. The other three, Lushrak still in the pool, Sand King still in the pool, which has been a staple opener throughout this tournament. I believe the most picked hero.
Yeah, I will definitely double check that, but I'm pretty sure that you're right off the top of my
You're
head.
not going to double check that.
What?
You're not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it after I'm done reading chat, Kyle. Thank you, Nahas, for double checking. See, we have a lingo on the desk, Kyle. You're just not used to.
Oh, you say you'll do it, and then Alan does it.
And then
Cues
Nahas
you
goes,
in.
actually, I just confirmed, and he sounds brilliant. I'm all
You're
about.
setting him up. You're setting him up for success. I appreciate that.
Do I really? Though?
Team pick.
Rubik gonna be locked in here. Yeah, but why have we seen just? We've talked about it already, and this is a pretty easy question.
Okay.
So talking about making my boys look good, I'm gonna loft the softball to Kyle here. Sand King, why are we seeing it so much?
Yeah, it's just a point-and-click stun. Can be played as multiple roles.
Yeah.
I think the changes to Sandstorm just increases
10
damage output
seconds
significantly. You get to auto attack while you're in Sandstorm. That's a big one. You just sit there and challenge, right? Oh, they do.
Very
They're cool.
nice.
They go for the dual support. So I figured they would just go for the Bristle right away. But the Viper ban's cool, right? Because it puts the fear into Alliance. Like, oh, shit, do we ban Bristle? Are they
Wow.
going to pick it? Like, they banned Viper. That's what it's got to mean.
And I especially like the Abaddon here because the Bat Rider is still on the
Yes.
table for Alliance, and so you make sure that if they're picking Bat, all right, it's going to be AA. We are more than likely going to see a tri-lane.
And that's another deny pick.
Sure.
In terms, you don't want to pick Bristle. You don't want to play a lot of these big tanky cores. Even heroes like Razor aren't a fan of playing into AA because they just don't want to deal with the lack of ability to regen. Just a solid hero. I know Insania likes to play it. I've seen
10
McKay play it
seconds
core in a couple
remaining
pubs,
back.
but I don't expect it'll be his choice here. Lone Druid's a very good ban. That hero is busted.
prioritized by both teams
And
as well.
it's so good against AA as well.
Now, interestingly, we aren't fully through the sample of games yet, but in the games so far from this tournament that we have parsed, the most common lane type in this tournament has actually been a dual off-lane
10
plus
seconds
roamer set.
remaining.
So a lot of teams doing this e-home playbook from early in the
5
season where you
seconds
start in a
remaining.
tri-lane at the early levels and then rotate one or both of those supports around the map.
When you say we, do you mean the royal we, like just you, or do you have a team of people helping you provide these
I
stats?
mean, well, Knoxville's running the server.
Dire
Got you.
team
So
back.
should I say Knoxville done partially? It is our server.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I
feel
pay
like
for it.
you shouldn't take credit for other people's work. That's all I'm saying. You're a teacher. You should
I
know
did.
that plagiarizing
I
isn't
paid
cool.
I paid for the server. Does that count?
I don't know. I mean,
I fund the site. Does that count?
if one of your students,
I'm
turned in
co-owner
an
of the
essay-
site. Does that count?
Hang on. What if Rich, right, I write an essay for Rich.
I asked
and you
for the
find out,
features.
and
Does
he
that
says,
count?
well, I paid him for it, though. Is that fine? Would you give Rich a passing grade?
You're
too?
right,
This
Kyle.
is a
I deserve zero
this
credit.
is a ridiculous analogy. I would never go to school. And also, it's the weekend. We're not talking about homework. We're talking about some dotes. Yeah, they locked in. So you're talking about the types of
Bristol
lanes
outright ban, right? We're not going to mess with it. You got the AA on board, but still.
I do want to talk about the types of lanes that we have seen because I know that tri-lanes is something that, Nahaz, you've loved to talk about. We talked about them a lot when we first got here. We talked about different things like the tone changes that maybe led to us to believe that we would see more of those tri-lanes. And I do want to take one more look at that now that we have broken into our championship bracket and really assess what is going on with the lanes as you started to talk about.
Yeah, I think the tri-lanes, the aggro tri-lane in particular, was the second most common lane type at Birmingham after 2-1-2. Had over a 60% win rate in that tournament. Thus far, again, much smaller sample of games here, but I do think it's telling that aggro offlane plus roamer has been, aggro dual lane plus roamer has been the most common lane type of the games that we've gotten done parsing so far. It's been about 50-50 in terms of its success rate, but again, it just goes back to something that we've talked about in several of this panel segments, something that we had, Cindy and I had a conversation with Loda about the other day. Teams have realized the importance of getting your lane matchups, you being the one to dictate the matchups, even though in Dota, it feels so bad as a Dota player to be sitting there walking from lane to lane, missing the creep waves.
How would you know how that feels, though, Alan? You're not a Dota player.
What are you doing right now?
What?
Okay,
I'm gonna take away your microphone.
Okay, Kyle.
Do you want to go to timeout, Kyle? I can do that.
You guys can make fun of me. I can't make fun of other people. Is that how it goes, Rich?
We'll let chat decide.
Sounds.
Don't make
the
don't
chat
make us
is not.
don't
should
make
not
us
be
get
the
Rich's
school
mom
teacher.
Okay.
here
Are there
in
more
here
Kyles
again,
or are there
man.
more people in chat?
That's.
Can we-
But there's more Kyles.
Can we talk about the
Worldwide,
fact
there's
that we
definitely
just
more
picked
Kyles.
Night Stalker here, please?
It was one of the more
We're gonna
popular
talk
names
about,
in the
we're
90s.
gonna talk about Night Stalker once I take away Kyle's microphone. If we get someone in production here to at least take the batteries out of his microphone so people can still see. And okay, we should talk about the draft.
Oh, Rich, why don't you take the lead on this one? I'll
Okay,
sit in
Kyle,
timeout.
you want me to take the lead?
Yeah,
you want me to
yeah,
expose
Kyle,
the fact
go
that I
for
know
it.
everything about Dota and I've been trying to keep it on. This is obviously a core IO. This is a core IO.
Nice.
All right, Nahaz, let's actually talk about what we have seen in the draft. And
So the
Kyle,
Night Stalker
let him
is
go.
a very unique pick to NIP. 33 is 10-4 with this hero over the course of the season, including I believe it was 13-1-29 against Liquid in a game at Birmingham. There's no other player in the pro scene that has more than 4 wins with the hero. So this really is NIP's the only team that's had any degree of success. The IO pick, very interesting. This is a hero that got mega nerfed in this patch. In particular, the taking away that level 10 XP talent. The Ags talent got moved from level 15 to 20 in 721B. With the removal of that XP talent at level 10, I think Wisp is going to have a really hard time getting to level 20. And of course, you have to take that level 10 talent to get your spirits to slow now, which is something that used to be built into the spell. You two are looking at each other really strangely.
Kyle's respecting my authority and chat's authority. Chat said ban Kai lol, and I said he was in timeout, so he's just letting you take the floor right now.
I just want to give a shout out to @Kyle_is_always_wrong. That guy, he's a hero. Like I think I'm gonna gift him some subs.
In any other chat, he would have been banned day one. And he's
a mod now.
I gotta say, shout out to people like Kyle is wrong yet again, who watched every single series.
Dedication, dude.
Dota Minor, putting in the long hours.
That's our core audience, man.
So let's actually talk about though what we are seeing in this draft, because this is one of the more interesting drafts that we have seen today. And pretty much throughout the entire tournament. And I feel like when we do start to see these two titans go head to head, where the stakes are going to be so high that you win this series and you go to the major, it is time to pull out the stops. It's time to show us the tricks. It's time to take Kyle out of timeout. Why are we starting to see this right here?
See what?
See such an interesting draft.
Why is it interesting again?
Hey, Kyle, you're back in time.
Seriously.
I tried with this guy.
Hey, this is like some serious PJ Salt in the middle here in the panel. Come
Okay,
on.
so Nahaz, why are we starting to see such an interesting draft?
I think for exactly the reasons that you said. Alliance, they're looking at the same numbers we are. Okay, they know they have not had success against NIP this season, and they know that this is the point in the tournament that they need to pull out. If you have some pocket strats, this is where you want to use them,
When
particularly
it's late in
in
the
game one.
game, that's when you got to think about pulling out. That's for sure.
Wait.
You definitely don't want to
So,
wait
yeah,
that late in the game, Kyle. But I will say, when we are looking at a lineup that Alliance is putting together, I feel like some of the questions have actually been about how large their hero pool is. I've heard it from a lot of the analysts that they do feel like it is big enough. But the question is now.
Well, I think it's big enough, but part of the reason, and this is, I really wondered when I talked about the heroes for this series.
I don't like it though, Alan.
You know what? I don't like it either.
3-3.
But here's the thing: the only 2 games that Alliance has won against NIP in the past 4 months were both Mike Morphling games, where he had a combined 29 kills and 1 death. Mike has the tournament high kill total so far on the Morphling, but it was in a loss, and it was in a game where he got farm and literally nobody else on the team did. And that's one of the problems we've talked about with that.
I'm always afraid because 3-3 has this really cool Night Stalker build where he often gets blink, second or third item, and with the AoE silence, you just blink right on top of the Morphling. And I've seen him solo Morphlings in the past. In addition, NIP have this, once again, it's just really cool concept with different heroes where they have a method of save, but more importantly, they can acquire vision easily, and they have high reach to go with it. So this AA, this Wisp, the Sand King, they're going to get found out by 3-3's Night Stalker, and then at any moment, they could hit him with the Haunt. Plus, they'll have overall last pick in this
10
game.
seconds remaining.
Just really cool way, I think, Nip put this lineup together. Alliance, they really could use some sort of team fight. You want a frontliner, because right now, you're not really going to be able to pick a fight on your own terms. You have no way to get vision, and that means that Night Stalker just can pick you apart. That works. There you go. Yeah, you need that. You need some sort of frontliner that can just kind of put himself between his team and where they think the enemy's going to come from.
You need a frontliner, but I'm a little worried about how these lanes are going to work for Alliance, because I think you're set up. I mean, you're set up to tread water in these lanes, but Dragon Knight, again, is this hero where most Dragon Knight lane matchups, he farms and the laning opponent farms.
I think it's just not.
You're against a Spectre lineup. You need a way to generate an advantage in the early game, and I don't necessarily see that coming out from this Alliance draft.
Nip can maybe go for something a bit greedier. I would see maybe an OD is possible. I'm not a huge fan. I think they want spread damage, because right now they're almost all in on the single target, and their team fight's a bit weaker. They need the initiation advantage, and it gets hard for them into BKBs at the moment.
It's
Nothing
not
to
a
puncture
great.
them.
It's not necessarily a great 1v1 historically, but given the player involved, you could go Puck here.
Nah, I don't think so. Not a fan.
Again, Puck actually
You need
Puck versus
damage. You
Dragon
need
Knight
real
head-to-head
damage.
historically is really bad.
It is.
Okay. If you want damage, you
I
go
would
back to something like
rather-
a Pugna from the
I'd
last
rather
series?
have a Quap if you want to go that direction.
Ooh.
I think that because it's Fada,
Actually
perhaps
don't like
Razor.
Quap.
Just 'cause it's
Razor, I
Fada.
love. Razor, I like a lot. Again, because the whole model is you just take the game far enough and you win. Okay, all right,
that works
I'm
too.
all right with that too.
They
Again,
picked it already, and it's
one of the big things that you needed out of this last pick, and one of the only things that was lacking was the burst damage to threaten the
Yes.
Morphling. You don't want Morphling to be able to run around full agi the entire game, farming the jungle with impunity. Until that Lina pick, they didn't really have a way to threaten that Morph, make him think about tanking up.
And
I think that brings the draft together really nicely.
You've got a lack of like hard commit on an initiation on Alliance, so it's very easy for Lina to play. Lina is one of those heroes that just loves having a vision advantage because you're squishy. You can then play more aggressively and play around now your Spectre, your Rubik, your Night Stalker. Anytime they land some sort of disable, you'll be able to stun follow up and find kills.
So,
very squishy lineup.
Here's the
inside
question.
Alliance.
Which lane does Alliance actually win?
None of them.
I'm worried.
Me too.
So you think it just completely unravels in that laning phase?
Like, I like the heroes. I like the lineup. I like the idea. I like the concept. But I always ask, which lane are you going to win? And if you can't answer that question, I think it's really tough.
Yeah, I agree that it definitely could be very tough there. But guys, we are going to actually find out just how tough it will be. Let's kick this off, and remember that whoever does win this series, they're going to be headed straight to the major.
Rich, I think it's going to be as tough as being on panel with you, actually. Not with you, with Nahaz and Kyle together and trying to talk.
That's right.
Yeah.
You corrected yourself just in time.
Yeah, I did. Being
Rich is an angel.
He is.
He's an angel.
He's an absolute angel. Or the devil. It depends which way you look at it. Either way, it's good omens. Yeah, for anyone out there who actually paid for that.
Let's get into the game, Toby, please.
Yeah, come on. We've actually been having really good discussions about the draft, about the flexibilities. We were looking for Mickey's Morphling to arrive as well. Like, that was going to be the big thing to grab. And they've got the IO, so Tiger's going to be playing that IO.
Yeah, and a hero that I still have quite a few questions about. He received a laundry list of nerfs in 7.22c, has evidently not been first phase ban or pick material, and that would have been unheard of 2 or 3 patches ago. And whenever IO was removed from Captain's Mode, it almost felt like every single team had an extra ban because you always had to first phase it. Now him and Chen are kind of being able to slip into these second phases, and I'm excited to see what Alliance are capable of doing on the hero.
Yeah, it's always one of those fun ones. Like, I'm always happy when I see Mickey. Like, I start off with this game and I'm just like, you know what, I got Mickey on Morph. I've got Quoitver on a DK. So, hey, welcome to Mr. Stability. Just don't buy a mech. And then Boxy. Like, he really had a fantastic series earlier today. Now he gets the Sand King to really prove his worth. And SKs have been acting like they're really tight hunters.
Yeah, definitely been one of the offlaners of the tournament for me, for sure. But, I mean, NIP are going in a different direction. They pick up a 33 specialty of his Night Stalker, and then they want to go late with the Spectre.
Yeah. Do you actually, like, so you're looking to go late by that early aggression of 33, right?
Yeah, he's the space creator around here, and that's why they also picked a very mid-game tempoed mid for Fada. They want him and 33 to just go around the map and make sure that this Morphling and IO never feel that safe. DK, on the other hand, is a great hero to take advantage of that, because if you're moving around, that hero will be able to take towers if he has that Dragon Form cooldown available. And then obviously the global potential that Alliance will have eventually with the AI Ice Blast, and the relocates with the Morphling or the DK, or even the Sand King early on.
Yeah. I just love how I was like, oh, Alliance with global pieces in their draft.
I wonder where they're going to go with that.
Yeah. Thanks, Loda, who is their coach sitting behind. We were actually hoping that Loda would pull out one of their older Alliance things, which is actually running the IO and the Luna.
Yes.
And trying to actually have that earlier pressure to be applied. But, hey, Mickey's Morph was not banned by PPD throughout the first and second phase, so it just made sense. Made total sense.
And we're going to start out 2-1-2. Rubik, not necessarily the best lane support, but after the nerfs that IO got, his attack range got nerfed. His Link doesn't do as much healing at level 1, then, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Neither of these supports are really that intimidating at early levels. You're just going to let the 2 carries farm it out.
And do you actually, like, for the IO then, like, do you have to stand inside the lane, or are we looking to pull? Like, I suppose you can't. They have a sentry wall that's blocking that pull point already.
Well, thankfully, there's not too much burst damage yet on the side of NIP, so you can usually attribute shift your way out of any sort of danger. But if it comes to nighttime, Void starts doing a lot of damage. Fade Bolt.
IO.
And obviously, he can't tank very much either.
Not when there's 2 creep waves right on top of him, but nice little play from Zuxka. Just, I'll grab him, I'll throw him back in again and see how much damage I can do. But 33's already done what he needed to do. Grab the creep wave, pulled it all the way over. And this is actually forced him to cop a fair chunk of damage underneath the tower, but that's the reason why Aya's got 2 salves on him. They'll heal straight back up to full for no problem at all.
No.
But, let's actually talk about the last pickup, Fada's hero in the mid. We've seen him already play a heavy nuker earlier today. Now he's 12-4 on this Lina. He's going to get lucky and also grab a regeneration rune as well. So that's even better for him. What's his impact meant to be inside this game?
It's a little bit surprising that he's doing this well in the mid lane already. I didn't expect that. I thought that DK with like a Quelling Blade, and you know, you don't need to go that, you know, like if you go stat heavy, you get a lot of damage. That's the beauty of being a strength hero. But he went for like this Fairy Fire Mango Salve on Quoitver, so and 2 points in Dragon's Blood also. So I'm a little bit interested by that. But him not doing that well against Lina yet means that, man, actually this is 18-4 to 9-0. That's bananas.
It wasn't like the old DKs. Like the old DKs would never be able to farm until they got their Soul Ring and they could breathe fire harass in the lane or something along these lines. But yeah, Quoitver's not going down that route.
Yeah, so
he's going double Bracer into 1.
If Fada gets this kind of room, then I imagine that he may even come online before 33's Night Stalker. So the first night timing could be incredibly important. I imagine that you probably want to start rotating to the bot lane, make Spectre feel a little bit safer, as PPD hasn't even like gone for the first miscoil deny or anything. He's just trying to keep Ace alive, and Ace isn't doing that bad, but there's the first deny.
Yeah, hey, you had to say it, and PPD was ready to respond for it. We went 3 minutes without LOA dying, so like this has to be corrected.
It's just that neither of these supports are really too interested in rotating around the map, and so the mid lane is going to be very, very stable, which just continues to favor Fada.
You know, I actually think PPD waited for this. We'll highlight top lane. That's a little bit of trouble for IO. Trying to retreat back out. 33's got Void in 3 seconds time. Tethered down. It's going to bring Tiger a little bit too close. Stick charges and the salve. He'll get into the tree lines, but 33, he'll hit the Void. And Tiger, he's burnt through so many consumables to survive through this. He has Tether up in a second, but Saska has the range with a level 2 Fade Bolt, ensures the kill.
Wow, that is an extremely expensive death, having to spend that many consumables. Quite scoops up a haste rune, but that's just going to be used to save his life.
He turned around for half a second just to cancel the clarity of Fada, but that was all.
Thankfully, Morphling does have those points in attribute shift, so he can survive without IO for a little bit. But that does give quite a bit of a setback for Taiga.
Yeah, not what he wanted to have happen. Well, so that's because he had a chance to slap down the courier on the while the pull was happening. But Koiva needs to really get regain control of this mid. We have about to hit 30 CS in 4.5 minutes. In fact, we just did for Fada against the 18. Like this is more than domination. The DK just shut out of the mid lane, and Koiva's still only itemizing to survive. Like he doesn't have mana spam. He doesn't have anything like this. Like. Did Soul Ring become like less of a popular thing on DK?
I didn't think so, especially because the Breathe Fire damage reduction is so valuable against. We'll have to see what talent he takes. He may go for the mana regen talent. Is Boxy taking some abuse from these aphotic shields? So I mean, it's possible that he doesn't want to have to go. Or he will be going for the mana regen talent as opposed to the Breathe Fire damage reduction talent. As Boxy scoops up this.
Oh, he had to Burrow Strike forward to try and take the bounty rune. At least the slow from Insania. Keeps him away, Spectral Dagger, Boxy, Sal gives him just enough life to survive, but PPD shield pops. And that is the SK falling, and that's a 3-to-1 bounty rune trade-off, plus you get the kill in the offlaner of Alliance.
Things are going very well for NIP. You just have to hope that this Mike Morphling will be able to carry you, which he has history of doing so. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm harping too much on this DK, but this is like way worse than I was expecting.
Yeah, but even Mike's Morphling, like his net worth, he's at 1.9k compared to the 2.6k of 33. And if there's something that we've learned from watching NIP's Night Stalker, his early rotations work so well, even without farm. But with farm, they're scary as hell. So how does Alliance then, like, do they batten down the hatches? This is nighttime. Do we just hide behind the towers?
Only once you see the Night Stalker leave the lane. Right now, I mean, 33's got a free lane. You know, at this early stages of the game, it's not like a Spectre is going to be able to push down a tier 1 tower like a Wraith King may be able to. So even if you do rotate to Spectre's lane, what is she really going to do with it? She's, you know, getting CS right now. Might as well let your Night Stalker continue to get larger and larger, and then maybe prove to be a threat for even the DK, who is usually so difficult to intimidate.
Also, the fact that DK has triggered his dragon form. He's managed to hit the tower once at least, but it's, he's not achieving anything with it.
No.
Like, he even spent half of his dragon form moving towards the top rune looking for that, but it was already stolen by Rubik, who had the Invis rune down on bottom. Now having a bit of a crack over at Spectre, but Ace is very tanky. 2 points in the dispersion, plus having PPD behind him. Ace really is immortal.
And he's going to get that Soul Ring delivered, so he may not even need the help of a Batten moving forward. He's got that passive regen, doesn't need miscoil spam. So every single lane is just going really well.
They're just tossing around. I got to remember that these guys can live on 10%.
It's very deceptive.
Yeah.
You'll see them get low, and then all of a sudden these Fairy Fires, attribute shifts get popped. You never really know how low the zeros are.
You got the rotation from Fada trying to find a kill over on Boxy. The Sentry Ward is down and was watching him, but nothing comes from it. In fact, Insania, he wasn't scouted out by the Radiant Obs in mid. He didn't come up far enough to walk in range of it. So he got his own Dire Observer Ward down without being scouted out.
With Dragon Form being down, it's not like they can go for a Cold Feet and a Dragon Tail play, though. Because if you don't have the range, it's now top lane.
Yep.
Tiger gets sliced.
Looks like Morphling's going to be left alone, silenced up, but that's why he sticks and morphs to safety.
And now AA is still creeping around in the mid lane, but again, until Dragon Form is available now, so they could go for a play, but unfortunately, PPD has shown up.
Yep, and they see him. Insania is still, okay, now he's in range of PPD, so that'll work.
Yeah, either way, like whoever you go for the stun for, Aphotic Shield's just going to come out.
Koifa's going for the 8-minute rune, and it's a regeneration. They just want to stun up Koifa, keep him out of range. He cannot deny the rune, so Fada's able to bottle that one up too. More TP supports on the way, but it's Insania. He's merely a presence to dissuade NIP and not really a counter-attack.
And he was already in the mid lane to begin with. He was just on the wrong side of the river, so he has to go in. And that just leaves Boxy alone, or rather it leaves Spectre alone, not having to worry about an AA's harass. This is what I was saying, that once the Soul Ring is completed, Abaddon can start moving around the map.
I'm liking the sentry ward placement on bottom lane. By actually just having this here, is able to watch, is able to watch Boxy when he tries to go for this kind of pull.
Yeah, exactly.
And means they can also attack onto him. Realize the detection's up, but obviously he doesn't care too much. Insania sitting behind gives him a little bit more confidence.
Dude, having top 3 net worths, well, now Sand King has retaken it.
Burrow Strike.
You got a Aphotic Shield. Having this sort of start as a Spectre is so relieving. This is the hardest stage of the game, is this early laning phase, especially with a lot of magic damage from an AA and a Sand King, and being able to just tank through all of it, it's so profitable for them. Now DK has come down bot with his Dragon Form.
They're bringing everybody down here though from NIP. 33's arrived, Rubik is here. They start the fight over towards Koifa, who's backed up, but it's actually Boxy really silent, so there's no stun, there's no control from him. Now I get the 3-man stun, still sitting inside the Sandstorm, but of course you've got detection through the dust. So say goodbye to your SK. Everyone else from Alliance backed off.
That means you had to back off at DK with Dragon Form. Great staggering of disables also. They were keeping the silence on the Sand King, immediately goes for the telekinesis lift, and since Sand King only has 1 point in Burrow Strike, it's not like he was going to go into the trees or anything.
Yep. And Lina got the tier 1 tower on top lane in the meantime. Top 3 net worths to NIP. Tiger and Mickey have just gone jungle. Like, they had a triple stack at least, so they're moving through this, but the 10-minute bounty runes are about to spawn, so they try and create space. Alliance on bottom lane, chasing down this Rubik. It's a heavy amount of damage. He should tick to the DK damage. In fact, it's Insania's last attack that does the job. A quick fire strike, remember, it's just creating space for the bounty runes pickups, but SK once again being revealed, but he's being kept alive by Tiger. Spectral Horn, who's he going to jump onto? There's over on Boxy, going in deeper. No, Spectral Horn blowing. And there's nothing they really get from it apart from rotating Ace to the northern lane.
They didn't know how many TPs would be available for Alliance and taking a fight on a Shrine, and it would have been a good idea for them to avoid that because the Shrine just came back up. Unfortunately, now Ace is kind of stuck in this top lane. His TP's down, he spent Haunt, and Sand King may start bothering him, but luckily PPD's there to pick up the slack. But Fada is getting so much done around the map. Io had to be so scared of helping out that Sand King even more. Otherwise, they may have gone for the turnaround. It's just that you saw Lina winding up for that Laguna Blade as soon as she saw this low HP Io, and he just had to back off. The tomes are out now, and AA is going to hopefully work his way to level 6. And then once this Ice Blast and Relocate come off cooldown, or come available, then we may see Alliance start to turn around the aggression.
Yeah. A little bit more of a front foot from them would be nice to see, but they're still keeping semi the status quo, even though it's definitely not in the...
It's not a good status quo.
Yeah, but it's one of those like, oh, we go late game, who's going to be better, Spectre or Morphling? Well, you still have confidence in Mickey. And the pressure on bottom, Fada, with that double damage ring, gets hit by the Brief Fire, then Relocate over with a Burrow Strike in Fada. Isolated, and you got to remember, Alliance are never just 2, they're always 4. And that's going to be the tier 1 tower falling. The pressure that Alliance tried to apply a couple of minutes ago, finally bearing some fruit.
Yeah, that's the kind of situation that you, as a Spectre, are just like, really wish I didn't use my Haunt just a few seconds ago, because they could have been easily able to turn that around. Maybe they didn't expect that Io would be level 6 already, though after the tome comes out and you saw an Io in a dual lane, you can kind of expect it, but looks like Fada got taken by surprise and was not able to finish off that DK.
This is now why they put down the Observer Ward inside the Dire Jungle, so they can watch where the farm is happening. PPD is staying close to it. They can't allow Mickey just to continuously, like almost, I want to say catch up farm, because he really is, like he needs to catch up. But he's still only like 100, like the net worth bars are all so damn close. PPD gonna get stunned up, not level 6 and no borrowed time, so a simpler kill than normally is on Abaddon. But it's just amazing how close the top 6 net worths are.
Everyone's on a precipice until the first team fight, then you're gonna start seeing the gap widen, but it's just faith in both of their hard carries. Alliance having faith that the Morphling IO combo will be able to outcarry, and NIP most likely giving time to 33's Nightstalker.
Epicenter channeling it up inside the Sandstorm. Ice Blast as well off the target. Ace, he's got the speed as well as the shields. PPD there in time, so Boxy trying to put that fresh veil to use and unable to find it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Taiga did not have the mana for Relocate, otherwise maybe he would have brought one extra hero with him.
Do you like how he's also going straight for an Aghanim Scepter? I thought like you may get something like utility items or Vlad's or something, but he's like, you know what, I got my ring and time to go Aghanim Scepter.
I am skeptical because that seems very, very greedy on both the IO. I mean, like the strategy itself is already fairly greedy. This DK has not been pushing towers. Now PPD again taking abuse.
Yeah, he has to shield up defensively, but the strike in the back lines. Mickey gets deleted. A quick burst strike from Suska, stolen, and then used against the DK. Ice Blast will fly forward, connect over onto Ace. Cold Feet being stolen, and DK, he just can't move away. And Tiger, there's not enough life he can give to his teammates. And with no Shrine, Insania will fall as well. You ask for the first fight that's going to start to separate these net worths. That's it.
Wow, that went catastrophically bad. I can't believe Morphling was at such low HP. That ward that you had mentioned earlier inside that dire jungle paying huge dividends, managing to scope out that Morphling, high agi, low strength. 33 going into Dark Ascension, immediately taking away a bunch of the vision that Alliance had, and immediately chain reaction, huge team fight one for NIP.
Yeah, and man, Alliance are going to be scratching their heads about it too, because it's going to get worse. The money now goes into 33 Spirit Vessel. It's like one of those items that's just been like an absolute bane. We'll actually watch this fight again, starting with the double Light Strike array in the back lines. The Ice Blast really felt massively ineffective because there was no damage that came after it. It was always Alliance running.
Yeah, and Abaddon didn't even have to heal anyone, so no real heal mitigation being useful is now. Alliance gonna smoke up. Koikfa has a Blink Dagger completed, does not have Dragon Form available though.
NIP smoke as well, and they 3-man smoked in the mid. And they headed north, up through the dry riverbed, and they're gonna find Insania.
Dude, PVD's so close to level 6. I wish he would just like hit a creep or something.
There we go, he got the ward, right?
Wards don't give borrowed time though.
This is fine. He actually has it. He has level 6 now.
All right. Well,
so he's just holding the point. That's why it's not showing up on the head.
I see.
So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, now it's Natural Night. 4 Spirit Vessel charges, maybe 5 even now for the Night Stalker, so he can start to make a lot of action, continue to make space for Ace, and I imagine at a certain point, whenever Haunt becomes available again, then we'll see the same thing happen where all of NIP start filtering into the dire jungle, which their Observer ward still hasn't gotten countered out. We see 2 failed sentries inside the dire jungle, neither of them finding the Observer.
33 just watched him so closely. And now he moves forward, over towards Mickey. Support was nearby, but now it's TPing over towards the Shrine. They'll see it coming. Ice Blast flying up too. It was Aya who came in, but the Ice Blast off target, 33. He'll go up into the air once again, ascending. That's the name of the ability.
It's not the Ascension he wanted, though. It's Natural Night. He didn't want to have to double up, but he needed to get off the cliff. Otherwise, he thought he would be cornered, which he probably was. DK TP'd in, but again, used his Dragon Form, and not going to be able to do anything with it. 33 can just wait this. They have so much vision in this situation. This ward is so instrumental, and NIP's advantage right now.
It's just... I still cannot believe they've missed every single time. Their sentry ward in the mid lane's also been de-warded, and that's why SK... Well, the attack comes in. Rubik trying to hide inside of his own Sandstorm. Ice Blast from Insania will be able to finish the job, but he'll lose his life for a Spectre. Is he going to reality in? Going to let the Illusions do the rest of the work? Now they go after Koifa. Father's already got himself a double kill, and he wants to wrap it up. No, they'll give this one to Ace, killing off Koifa. No regeneration. The Spirit Vessel charge is being burned as quickly as they're being regained. And the tether forward, break the trees. Nikkei trying to fight the Burrow Strike. It's perfect from Boxy. He's going to follow up the epicenter. There's no cancel for it, so Fada can't run away. Neither can PPD. He's already had the Burrow time triggered with the Cold Feet. 33 couldn't get back down the hill, so Boxy will hold him here with another Burrow Strike. The 33, the Cold Feet, it doesn't trigger. He's got enough movement speed, and everyone from Alliance has already retreated back out again, thanks to the IO relocate.
Well, it cost 2 buybacks, and those are the 2 heroes that ended up getting the majority of the kills. Normally, whenever a fight like that goes backwards, then I'm like, oh, that's great. But the Morphling wasn't able to participate, and the DK wasn't able to participate. So these 2 cores not being able to take advantage of all that experience and gold bounties of these NIP heroes dying is not as great of a turnaround as you would hope. Meanwhile, NIP's Spectre and Night Stalker both survive. Yeah, Fada does die, and that is 1 core going down for NIP, but NIP always, I feel, win whenever 33 and Ace have good games. Fada is usually allowed to have not a great game.
And Ace is already having a great game. Like, the Relic is on the Courier at the moment, coming over towards Ace, so he's 550 gold towards the Radiance recipe.
Nope.
So once this arrives, Alliance will have a harder time, and Alliance are actually moving around near Roshan, but they want to hunt top. That Blink Dagger from Koifa hasn't really paid dividends. And they need it too.
Yeah,
We are still in nighttime for another 2 minutes longer. So they need then, okay, quick jump. No Dark Ascension, but the silence is just, well, Alliance can't do anything. And they again trigger Dragon Form for this.
Well, maybe they can turn this into a push, but that's still a consolation prize at best.
They put the Observer Ward up on the hill, so they are ready for it. Ice Blast is available. SK just has to wait in the corner. Here comes PPD. He kind of knows it too. Burrow Strike forward has the borrowed time, but the Ice Blast is going to connect overall only PPD. But Night Stalker up the hill. He is very, very visible as he goes for this run. Boxy knows it as well, but he's being silenced up, so can't Burrow Strike away. While Far's just doing the work, killing off Mickey. And just once again, they know how to cancel against this Morphling of Alliance. That's why they let it through the Pan pool. Tiger will die as well. 3 heroes on the sidelines. And Alliance need to get into more of a retreat. They cannot stand around here. Spirit Vessel on the Boxy, the Spectral Dagger will follow him as well. He just has to keep running outside of his own Sandstorm and far away. Koifa can get the Breathe Fire, at least reduce some of the damage, but that won't stop the Fade Bolt. Level 4 from a long range. Not to mention, during that fight too, the Ice Blast was actually there on the Rubik as well. They just got hit so hard with no regen, Spirit Vessels or Ice Blast.
I said in the early levels that burst damage was not going to be a concern, but as we move later and later into this game, you have so much to be worried about as a Morphling. The Laguna Blade just destroying this, like, I don't know, like 600 HP Morphling who looked like he had a full HP bar, but it is very deceptive. And the Void does so much damage at night. Fade Bolt doing so much damage. And once this Spectre Radiance comes online, then even if you do get the chance to shift, you're going to get chipped down. Alliance are just not being able to find the initiation. Every single time a fight starts, it's them running away. It's never them chasing down NIP.
Seems also so hard for like Mickey. Like you mentioned, like the burst damage comes from Fada, but he's got levels so quickly. He had such a great game, so he's already got the Ether Lens, so he can reach him from a long way. But it's the level 2 Laguna that arrives so early on, and Mickey hasn't. Like now, he's gonna finally almost have enough money for the ultimate orb, thanks to the pickup of the bounty runes. He does have it, so Amanda style is here, so he's got something defensive to play with.
If he can react in time, I'm a big fan of the Shadowblade pickup from Delina. She just needs to play sniper mode. She's just going to assassinate this Morphling whenever she sees him at low HP. Just go for the LSA out of your blade, then go for the Laguna Blade. And there's no way a Morphling will be able to Manta style if you can't even see the hero.
Like just that instant stun, instant control. And Fada's going to use it straight away. Down the bottom lane, Koifa's just standing there farming. There is Tiger nearby, but the rest of him's walking over. PPD will see him, and now Koifa's like, okay, time to really get the hell out of here. Ice Blast, remember, that's going to be the Rubik one. A quick relocate away. As far home as possible, and Aya's going to give his life while in mid lane, 33. Going to go after his own fight against the Morphling. That won't happen. Remember, he's got the Manta style. And Koifa's already TP'd forward, so Io has now returned home. I say home, that's NIP's home.
Let me go home in a casket. Worthy sacrifice. Thankfully, not another DK form was spent, so...
They had the last timing of that Observer Ward. That's going to allow them to get the kill. Ice Blast coming off cooldown. 1 second time from Insania. Flies forward, connects onto the Rubik. He should shatter from this. Nothing should really keep him alive, or will it? Breathe Fire, the shields. It's still not enough at the end of the day.
Activates Dragon Form.
Yeah, going after the kill on 33. That ain't happening. The rest of Alliance, their stuns controllers, they were shrining. Boxy was not ready to fight. He had to wait so long until the Spirit Vessel wore off.
Do you mean to tell me that another Dragon Form was used for no reason?
I mean to tell you this.
Shocking. Truly shocking. Haunt isn't available, though, and the problem is that Fada with his...
Boxy, Epicenter, he's got Blink Dagger going towards the tree lines. No one's in there.
That was
and he didn't Burrow Strike forward. It was a total blind guess. And hits absolutely nothing. So Epi is lost. Last Trigger 8 connects over on Koifa. Can somebody get him out of here? The tether was already on Mickey. Try and keep him alive. So Koifa adding as much pressure to this tier 1 tower, but it's still sitting at 522 life. And they may even get a consolation prize. Io, he can tether himself over to the creep wave, but 33, he's highly maneuverable on this Night Stalker, especially during the nighttime and especially during Ascension. Is there a stun? Is there a control? Insania TPs himself in, but there's no rebuttal underneath the tier 2 tower with 4 heroes from Alliance and nobody wants to fight.
While NIP know exactly what to do against a Morphling, I don't think Alliance know what to do against a Night Stalker. We saw earlier the DK try to blink into the silence and was like, wait, I can't initiate like this. Sand King would love to Burrow Strike a Night Stalker in that situation, but then you can't Sandstorm immediately after because you're going to be Burrow Striking into a silence. Alliance are just looking lost against this 33 Night Stalker.
Hey, I'm still waiting for the Aghanims upgrade higher.
Yeah, he really committed to that one.
He has committed. He's not backing off from it. A point booster and just the agility, like 1K, that's all he needs.
I mean, he took the tether slow talent, so I mean, I guess you get some value, but I don't think these NIP heroes are going to care about getting slowed. They're so maneuverable. They have aphotic shields, even if you slow them down and manage to get like a follow-up stun or something. I don't know, maybe Alliance was like, this is the only way that IO is viable, because like I said, this is not a hero that I've been able to see very much of after his 7.22C nerfs. But this doesn't seem like the viable choice.
Hey, maybe there's something real quirky about it. You wouldn't do this without a proper plan. And there always is a plan. Boxy, Burrow strikes in, combining with the Ice Blast. Koip is here to land the stun as well. 33 is a huge kill if they can claim him. They're able to do so, even with the relocate. Ire, he's in a lot of trouble. Not to mention, Ace, he's managed to relocate into the backline to pick off Insania. So both the supports are gone. A quick Burrow strike away from Boxy, get some distance. And as you said, 33 does buy back. And Morphling's on the wrong side of the river. There's waveform available, and he is a Morphling, so difficult to kill. You kind of want to take that, though, right? That looks economically at least a win for Alliance.
It does, and I think 33 may have been a little bit overeager. If he had Dark Ascension available, then it would have been a fantastic buyback, because then you would probably be able to focus down the Morphling, because Manta Style is not going to help you get out of, again, Night Stalker's silence. So if you can fly on top of Morphling and make sure he can't waveform away, it would have been great. But it's not going to be all for naught, as they immediately invade the Dire jungle again. Another great Observer Ward place. Seeing
this one's deeper.
He's going.
He's going back.
He's going back.
He's going back.
All right, false alarm, false alarm.
No, wait, no, he's going forward. No, he's going back. No, he's going forward, and he's going into indecision land. Like, uncertain what he's meant to do. Well, Ascension. Up we go. 33. He's found at least Io, because the Observer was still giving him so much information. A lot of heroes around, but DK is the primary target. Up on the top, Laguna Blade already being used on the Ancient Apparition. He just tanks the entire thing. Yeah, it's a 1 minute cooldown, but if you're looking for a fight now, it doesn't look, NIP won't get it.
Yeah, but they at least managed to bully Alliance far away that they get 3 of the bounty runes.
And they're preparing bottom. The vision from PPD game is already beginning. Dropping sentries, looking for any, like, just one deep obs.
Yeah, these have been paying dividends in the early stages of the game.
Pick up. Oh, Koifa didn't learn the lesson from before. Pick him up, throw him down, and no way to reach, and he actually just walks towards Sparta.
He gets the stun at least.
Yep, there is a rebuttal. The rebuttal comes in towards mid with the relocate forward. Boxy committed everything he had, so Ace falls down. I can tell you right now, Ace is worth a hell of a lot more. In fact, if we're going to put money on it, it's about 400 gold more.
Yeah, and I think Alliance will take that trade any day. Slows down a lot of the momentum from NIP. The problem is, the rest of their heroes can still create pressure, whereas the rest of Alliance's heroes can't really create pressure yet. Morphling just needs to take this opportunity to farm. Little does he know that he's farming deep within the Observer wards that NIP had placed earlier in that eastern jungle, but he's at least not having to fear any sort of pawn rotations. It's just that this Aether Lens plus Shadow Blade on Fada build is so incredibly valuable. Koikfa, DKs are not heroes that are supposed to die this much. DKs are supposed to be the post-game screen where you're like, the rest of my team fed. What's going on here, guys?
This is just like, in case you didn't get a welcome enough back to the team, like, we're just gonna like, I'm gonna take you back to that time. But Alliance said, like, they still feel good. Like, the fact that Morphling is starting to get these defensive items, how long is it gonna be until NIP start to have damage problems and control problems against Mickey?
Oh, it's clearly when the IO Aghanim Scepter comes online. That's when the game changes radically.
Of course. That's what it's all about.
I can't wait to eat my words and it actually proves to be amazing. It's just, I'm very, very skeptical right now.
Hey, I can tell you right now, I'm used to sitting next to a man that eats his words when something amazing happens. I love you. I love you, Kyle. I love you.
Meanwhile, Rubik completes his own Aghanim Scepter, so he beats Io to the punch. And so let's look around. What does he have the capabilities of doing? So maybe a Black Dragon. Be hyped to see that. Obviously, the buffed up 17-second Ice Blast. Taking the Morph, I don't think is very easy. I think Morph has to kind of misplay that. And then obviously Burrow Strike range would be great. And then, hey, your own Perma Spirits, I guess? I don't know if that's how it works, actually.
I heard Loader upstairs earlier today saying, I want to see Aghanim's Black Dragon. I want to see it looks so cool, and with the Bloodlust, it looks even better. I don't think he wants to see Rubik having the Black Dragon. That's not an Alliance favorite.
You should have been more specific.
Kind of moment. Yeah, sorry. Like if you're gonna make a wish, actually think about it before you talk to the genie.
Yeah, this
Push back,
paw.
Kuiper, trying to get a little bit further out. Insania, what's he doing? He's walking forward for a quick vortex. Now the Ice Blast, it won't connect. Nip just saw it coming from a mile away. Kuiper, Dragon, he's actually gonna pop it already. He had buyback available, but if he uses it now, probably won't do much more. While Spectre can hunt down the Ancient Apparition in the back lines and then jump straight back into the front lines. There's 3 heroes down for Alliance. A quick waveform and TP away to safety. Anyone gonna stun them or pierce that? No, they do not.
I don't think NIP are too disappointed about that if they couldn't get the Morphling. Dude had to build a Manticile and a BKB just to live, and the rest of his team dies. This Dragon, I don't know, this Dragon Knight is just not working out at all. I don't know what the idea was. It was the last pick for Alliance. Maybe they thought they needed some push, which I agree, they did need some push. But this is not the hero to deal with the Night Stalker. And
they seem very uncertain as well about it, if they can't even take a fight. Like right now, Mickey is dying to Spectre Illusions, as well as 1 dagger. It's not a happy day for him. Even with the 21 charges available, the tier 3 tower will fall, and IP will be very clinical about this. They'll back up, they'll take out the shrine, and as you can see already from the mass sentry wards that have been planted around inside that jungle area, they want to own this whole space.
Yeah, either in terms of vision or either in terms of letting Fada have it as a playground with his Shadow Blade. They want to make sure that no Alliance hero ever feels safe in either of their jungles.
They're actually rushing in Tigers. Like, when you give farm priority to an IO, like, okay, now Morphling will come in and take the rest of this, but it's like, he's 500 gold away because he did the stack, so at least he gets extra cash from this. But they're pushing towards that Aghanim Scepter over on the IO.
That's the timing.
That's the timing.
That's the timing.
Oh my God.
Have faith, Toby.
Is this going to be your phrase? I've been used to just hearing, like, it's still anyone's game for this entire tournament so far.
The win condition, Toby.
Yeah.
It's the win condition.
That's right.
Ice Blast comes in. All these NIP heroes are so tanky, though.
That's good scouting, but Mickey can now just try and push the tier 2 tower on bottom. I don't think Alliance can really take a fight here.
Yeah, but it does scare him out. I think with Haunt being down, you don't have that guaranteed ability to cancel the Blink Daggers, so Sanking initiation with a Veil could be devastating, or DK finally managing to initiate.
But they're not doing it. They walk back underneath that Observer Ward. They see DK. They see Ancient Apparition underneath their own shrine.
Yeah, it was the decoy, the Siren Song of the Bounty Runes. They're like, ooh, 2 Bounty Runes, but maybe we should go get them.
You know, with that money, you can get your Aghanim Scepter. And actually, they have the Aghanim Scepter coming on the courier
all
now.
Right.
It's all right.
Rubbing my hands together for this.
We've got BKB Kuiper,
right, let's go.
and we have Aghanim Scepter IO. He hits 15 as well, so 25 Spirit Hero damage now. It's go time, baby.
It's go time. I'm hyped.
I want to see.
I can't wait for him to see. I can't wait for him to get insta-get by Fada Laguna Blade yet again. Somehow I fear that that's what's going to happen. 10k net worth advantage for NIP right now. They've just been slowly choking Alliance out.
Well, they run forward. Foxy's in a hell of a lot of trouble. No one can save him, and they know it. He's picked up, throwing down like a ragdoll, and they're stuns. Mickey, no, he can't dive here. He gets the strength morph off. Waveforms up the hill and away. What do we get stolen? It's Cold Feet, so at least some level of chain stun. Tiger.
Oh
an
man, that is a brave boy.
Yeah,
oh,
he's just like, how many spirits I've got? They're gonna keep respawning anyway. This is what my Aghanim Scepter does. It's like, you know what?
He's practicing actually because he's gonna build a Glimmer Cape. So maybe this is the thing. You just be irritating as an Invis IO, popping your balls on people.
Maybe your Shadow Blade's a little easier than the Glimmer Cape when you want to do that. But
all right, he's crazy, but he's not that crazy.
Oh, they'll find the Sentry Ward, so that's an upside.
Good news is DK has managed to complete a BKB, so
yep.
Hopefully he gets a little bit more flexibility on when and where he wants to activate that Dragon form, rather than just doing it as like an evacuation method.
And maybe he can get out of the bottom 4 net worth. That's also another upside, because he is a long, long way down that list.
That's not great.
And Spectre's just getting stronger and stronger. Diffusal, Manta, Radiance, looking for a Skadi next.
Trying to loop around here.
Yeah, Boxy's actually in a really good position to fight. He's just out of range of the Observer Ward, but he can blink and Epi. onto anyone that comes close. But right now, all they've got is the Aegis Immortal Spectre. That's not who they want to go on, because that's not a guaranteed kill. Instead, DK into the back line. So Kuiper,
no.
they're all blinking away from him. The stuns will come up, and Kuiper doesn't get anything. Now he'll BKB. And the pickup and throwdown, thanks to the relocate, they catch the back lines, and Mickey can finally start getting himself some kills with a follow-up stun. Io is actually getting the kills in. Io's the only one to fall, but you take the Lina, you take the Rubik, and you break the Aegis Immortal.
Happy?
33, he doesn't have the nighttime. The epicenter comes in, keeps it slow on 33. A quick waveform over. Who do they want the target on? PPD. He's still got borrow time available, and Boxy's now kind of trapped. Yes, a borrow strike up to safety, but instead he's got nothing left in the tank to give him. In fact, a triple kill for Ace. The Spectral Dagger does the work, but Mickey, remember, he's the raid boss for Alliance. If you can bring him down, maybe you're stronger than WoW Classic. An ultra kill for Ace. And 33 wants to come back in for more. If they can keep that control on the Morphling.
1 second till Dark Ascension. He's hiding right now, but 33's not going to let that last for long.
Up we go. They see everything. Manda is up again, but he's silenced up. Needs to break free. Waveform's there too. It's just lasting forever. And Mickey will fall.
It was a better fight than I was expecting, but...
What were you expecting?
I was expecting a full team wipe, GG, let's go next, but
okay.
the BKB proves to have profit on the side of the DK. They managed to burn through Ace's Aegis, but Taiga...
Oh god, they're going in again.
Yeah,
Taiga's too far up. He's there with Kuiper, but Kuiper can't do anything. He's silenced up.
The thing with an Aghanim Scepter IO is that you have to be in the middle of the fight, because otherwise, like, your balls are not doing very much. So you are, you know, very eager about being like, okay, if I get in melee range, then like I get, you know, quick chain reaction, a lot of slows. That's not your job as an IO. Your job as an IO is to keep your Morphling or DK alive.
Maybe Rich was right the first time. Like, there's item builds for a
Core
core IO.
IO. Oh
That's
my
what it's
God,
meant to
he
be.
knew it.
But Rich, how do you know?
Rich is always right.
Either that or he's just very wrong and he's led Alliance astray. It's rough no matter how you look at it. And now with the Lincoln Sphere on the Lina, she's massively protected. Then going to go into the Aghanim Scepter. Not like there's enough damage already flying the way of Alliance.
They initiated that last fight, Alliance also going on the Rubik, because, well, first the DK tried to get a stun, Rubik broke his ankles, blinked south into the side shop, and then Morphling was like, I'll finish the job, we'll relocate onto him. This Rubik has already stolen attribute shift at one point. He is so tanky right now that even a support Rubik takes forever to kill.
Yeah, he's at 2.6k on this Rubik.
Yeah, and usually you sacrifice a lot of armor for that, but even then, Saxa's got that covered.
Yeah. 6 armor total for the Rubik. And he's now building into the Yule Scepter after having the Blink and Axe. Spectre's finished the Skadi. Another upside when you really don't die. That's at 11-1-12 Ace.
Yep.
And he's having a great KDA, a great game, and he was set up for it as well by the rest of NIP.
For sure. The laning phase has basically been the story of this entire game, as we see NIP have never relinquished their lead in this game.
Fun scan. Kuiper instantly wants to go for the jump. Relocate's coming in as well. Fada is
Black
nearby.
Dragon.
And he actually, he almost hit the perfect double light strike array. And it is Black Dragon. Finally, we get to see him. But, well, it ended just as fast as the Game of Thrones Season 8. Fada is on the run back out of here. Down into the lane. No, maybe just turn around. Ace has arrived. Kuiper totally stranded up. And they're not done yet. 33 wants to track down Boxy. He's able to get the Spirit Vessel off. There is no blink. He's just trying to force staff himself back to base. But 33 will keep the run going. Even with the Void, you know you can go for this. You know you got the life. Another quick silence. Mickey is there to slow down 33, but he's still insanely tanky.
Yeah, and he had to morph a Rubik for that, so he was probably just finding the first hero available. Ended up killing Saxa, which again, takes a lot of effort, but it's not the hero that's going to win NIP the game. It's going to be this Ace Spectre and 33 Nightstalker.
Now, this really does feel like Alliance have 2 feet in the grave.
Thought is creeping in. LSA connects.
Oh boy, Morphling, no! Well, buyback to Babel. 33 gets the kill.
Ever the optimist, Toby.
I always, like, it's never over until the fat lady sings. Nightstalker. Oh, the light strike array connects again. Kuiper, please, not continuously like this. Alliance back up to their tier 4 towers. They've lost their bottom lane of ranks. Ace is just so heavily protected. The Lincoln Sphere of Fada, he just throws it on the Spectre so he can just sit on the front lines. Knowing there's no initiation. Now Io tethers, that ain't far enough. It's just full physical damage in from Fada. No buyback available for Taiga. And it's gone from bad to worse to absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I don't blame Tiger for how this is going. I don't know how to play with an IO Aghanim Scepter. I don't think he does either, though. That's the problem, because you want to get close. Positioning as an IO is the most important thing. I would say, like, IO and maybe Sniper as
TK
jumps in.
They're jumping in. Morphin's going to buy him back, and all NIP need to do is just back off now. They've already taken all the tier 3 towers, and if Alliance want to present them a place to fight, they'll do it in about 7 seconds when Dark Ascension's back off cooldown.
Yeah, so I consider IO and Sniper to be the most complicated heroes to know positioning on, because you need to be so delicate. Your hero is so delicate that you never really know when you're safe and when you're not. Neither does the DK, apparently.
That's such bait! PPD was literally saying, please go on me. 33 runs into the back lines, signs up the AA, make sure this will be having no factor. Koip is just being beaten down by Ace. BKB is not protection from what NIP are dishing out. They will take the mid lane of Frax. Mickey can go in for one quick fire strike. Maybe with the epicenter, they can all die, and GG is called. The Lions are pushing up the daisies in game 1, and NIP, they haven't dropped a game since their first series in the group stage. And in this type of form, it looks to be exactly the same. What did Peter say? Like, this minor is a qualifying slot for a Chinese team and a European team.
Correct.
And they want to be the European team.
And they're just going to continue to solidify their already qualified for TI status. They're getting games in 7.22C, which a lot of the teams that are qualified for the major already aren't getting on this kind of LAN environment. And Alliance just looked soundly outclassed here. They banned out 33's Bristleback, but now you might have to consider banning out a 33 Nightstalker as well.
Yeah, I actually wonder about the draft. Like, PPD, like, this guy knows how to draft. Like, he may have won some big tournaments you may have heard of. And
is he a TI winner?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a TI
yeah,
winner.
TI
That's
winner, right?
right.
Yeah,
I'm
TI winner.
now.
Yeah.
Much
And
like how Ehome had 3 TI winners, but wait, they're out.
I don't know if that's too soon or not.
Sorry.
Man, just come on, man. They're not even pushed out of the top 12 yet. Like
the spirit of Kyle has come within me when I'm casting with you. I'm sorry. The savagery. I can't help it.
You're making it sound like I'm tainted. Like.
You're a leper.
Anyway, it still feels like NIP really did push this properly. Like they knew that the Morphling pickup was gonna come.
Yeah.
Like they let it through the pool. They knew that this is gonna happen, and it just feels like everything just rolled out according to the plan of PPD.
It did. They had the insurance of late game Spectre. They had the mid game dominance of 33, and Fada had a far better game, probably the best game of the entire tournament I've ever seen. That Shadowblade Lina, perfect build, perfect execution.
Yeah. Well, I want to see some more from NIP. They're playing beautifully, but Alliance, can they step it up and give us an entertaining third game? Or maybe even just second. We'll find out.
Observing something where I felt like I would actually push the whole craft forwards. I could give people something that they would enjoy.